It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Another day, another opportunity to talk to the community. Starting off with Greater West Bloomfield going back to school. An exciting Monday for kids all across Greater West Bloomfield Monday as they headed back to the classroom for the first day of many in the school year of 2024-2025. Now here's some of the students, if you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, enjoying their final moments of the summer, transitioning back into the classroom with a picture before they actually made their way back to the classroom, if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Even some of the adults getting in on some of the fun. New educators joining the school district, and even school district member Ashley Davis celebrating her first day without the kids in the house. Oh, I can't wait. New beginnings across Team WB West Bloomfield, by the way, and you can even share your photos of school going back to school, I should say, tagging West Bloomfield School District on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools, and make sure you use the hashtag Laker Nation, hashtag First Day of School, and hashtag Only WB. And speaking of WB West Bloomfield Schools in general, West Bloomfield High School marching band actually had a chance to learn from the best at the college level, as they actually had a chance to spend the evening with the University of Michigan marching band at their rehearsal. If you're listening on 89.3 Lakes FM, you just watched this on CivicCenterTV.com, a photo of the band members right there. And actually, the Lakers were joined by some alums, Arthur Yang and Kylie Harmala. They actually also enjoyed meeting U of M's drum major, Christian Nunez, and band directors, John Pascali and Richard Fry. All great times, beautiful weather right there on the field in Ann Arbor. You can see even more pictures of the fun evening of music, we should say, on Facebook, West Bloomfield Schools, for more photos of that great time right there. Speaking of great time and making a transition for kids looking to pursue collegiate education, you can help provide scholarships and assistance to families in need with the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, who's been serving the greater West Bloomfield community since 1972 by providing scholarships to students and assistance to families in need, especially during the holidays, by the way. At no cost to you, whenever you shop at Schuler's Books of West Bloomfield, just mention WB Optimist at checkout, and a portion of the proceeds will go towards supporting student scholarships as well as families in need. Like we said, especially during those holiday times, which are coming up very, very soon. We want to thank the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield for partnering with West Bloomfield School District to make things like this happen. Find out more information on the Facebook page of West Bloomfield School District at West Bloomfield Schools, by the way. And West Bloomfield Parks wants us all to do our part to actually help our local environment. It's their Green Dream initiative for the month of August. It's supporting our pollinators. From their Facebook post, it says, quote, "Not only are they responsible for helping over 80% of flowering plants reproduce, but we also have pollinators to thank for 1/3 of the food we eat," end quote. That's only a fraction of the many things that pollinators do to support our local environment, by the way. And we actually partner with WB Parks in one of our Greater West Bloomfield top video series. It's called Minute with Nature, where WB Parks naturalist supervisor Lauren Azuri actually explained more about these special creatures.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri, the park naturalist for West Bloomfield Parks. And we're here today inside our nature room talking about pollinators. In order to pollinate, it means to transfer pollen from a male to a female part of a plant and produces seeds. The most important part to remember is that it produces a new plant. Those seeds grow new plants. So without pollinators in our world, we wouldn't have more plants. Who are pollinators and who does all of this work? Well, bees and butterflies are the most common when you think of pollinators in the nature world, but moths are also pollinators, bats in different parts of the world are pollinators, and birds can be pollinators too. Over 80% of the world's flowers require a pollinator in order to reproduce. So without all these animals that do this important job, we wouldn't have a lot of our plants. Some of those plants also provide us with food. Kiwis, cashews, almonds, apples, avocados, I could list a million. And they are all made by pollinators. So they're very important to our food source and to our farmers as well. If you want to help out pollinators, you can plant a pollinator garden. A great way to do that is provide a variety of different flowers that have nectar sources in them. You want to make sure that you don't use herbicides or pesticides. That's a big problem with our honeybee population right now. They do absorb that when they pick up pollen, and it can affect them. Also, it's really important to plant native plants, plants that butterflies and bees and our pollinators here are used to eating from. So plant native and help out the pollinators in our area. And that's your Minute with Nature.
And it's not too late for those native plants either. Those are some plants that we can actually plant during the late summer/fall season. So they actually can help the pollinators as well. And here's some more information in another installment of Minute with Nature.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri, the park naturalist for West Bloomfield Parks. And today we're here inside our nature room talking about native plants and why you might want to plant some native plants in your garden as well. Well, what is a native plant? A native plant is a plant that has evolved here in our area, and it's adapted to the climate and soil here. A native plant has grown in Michigan, or their native area, for hundreds of thousands of years, so have developed ecological relationships with the animals in our area as well. Why would you want to plant native plants in your yard? Well, there's lots of reasons, but one is convenience. Native plants grow better in Michigan. They don't require fertilizer or pesticides, as well as less watering. Since they're from here and they're used to the conditions here, you don't need to add as much water or fertilizer to the soil that they're growing in your garden. So they're lower maintenance. 90% of all leaf-eating insects can only eat native plants, which means that it's super important for us to provide food sources for them. If we plant non-natives tropical plants, they have no ecological value and animals will not use them at all. Monarchs is the best example of this that many people already are familiar with. Monarchs love milkweed. And their milkweed is the only plant that a monarch caterpillar will eat, and is also the only plant that monarch adults will lay their eggs on. Butterflies are beautiful to view, but butterflies are also pollinators. So pollinators obviously help our world and bring us a lot of the food that we eat. I bet you're wondering maybe now where you can buy native plants from. We don't really recommend that you go to a commercial greenhouse for them. A lot of commercial greenhouses have hybrids of native plants, or they're the same species of a plant that might grow here, but they didn't come from Michigan originally. So you really would ideally love a native plant that was grown in Michigan and the seeds started in Michigan. So look for a local native grower. Here at West Bloomfield Parks, we partner with a native grower and offer a native plant sale in May. So you can visit us there for a great source of buying native plants as well. You can also go to the Audubon website, and they have a great map where you can list your zip code and get native plant ideas for our area. Here in Michigan, some great, beautiful flowers that you'll enjoy in your garden, and so will all those pollinators like butterflies, are asters, coneflowers, milkweed, and black-eyed Susans. So I hope you plant some natives, attract some wildlife for you to view, but also help your environment. And that's your Minute with Nature.
And some great information by Lauren Azuri, by the way, WB Parks naturalist, and some more information that we can do to kind of help these pollinators during the fall season and late summer, I should say. Skip the lawn and garden cleanup this fall. Many of the pollinators actually live in some of that leaf litter that we kind of have piled up sometimes. And when we put those in bags and just let the city take them or throw those away or whatever the case may be, that's kind of destroying the homes for the pollinators. So that's one way we can actually help also. But don't let me talk your head off. Get more information yourself. Go to the Facebook page for West Bloomfield Parks at WB Parks on Facebook as well. In case you haven't known, just to let you know today, right now, there's a heat advisory across Oakland County. As a matter of fact, Oakland County Emergency Management is relaying the message from the National Weather Service's Detroit Pontiac office that this advisory will be in place today, Tuesday, August 27, 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Heat index values will be in the triple digits, expected to go as high as 102. So, of course, please dress light, less layers, stay hydrated, plenty of water, and limit your time outdoors unless you have to. So, join us right here on The Splash Live to explain a little bit more. We have Sergeant from West Bloomfield Fire Department, Sergeant Blake Belsky. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate it. So we just briefly went over a few things, but we want to hear it from the professional himself. Can you just tell us, with this heat advisory in place for today, what steps should we take in order to really fight this heat going on today?
It sounds like, from what I could hear, it sounds like you covered some of the big points. The most important one is going to be, if you can avoid the heat at all, stay inside. If you have a job that requires you to be outside, if you just insist on getting some of that yard work done today, make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're keeping an eye on how your body's reacting to the high temperatures and high humidity out there. If you stop sweating, that's a problem. Call us. If you start feeling funny, that's a problem. Call 911. Get the fire department out there to help.
And that's a great question. I mean, great points that you brought up. But I have to touch on this part too. For those who are staying inside, but they may not have air conditioners or fans or things of that nature, what other resources do we have available? Are there any cooling centers available and things of that nature?
So there are cooling centers around the county. I'm not aware of any in West Bloomfield, but we do have a lot of public facilities that people are certainly welcome to go into.
Okay.
We've got the two branches of the library, which are very nicely air conditioned, and plenty of great books to keep you occupied while you stay out of the heat. Go find a movie. Go get some ice cream. Whatever you can do to stay inside and stay cool, find a place where you can do that safely.
Great point, great point. With us right here live on The Splash, Sergeant for West Bloomfield Fire Department, Blake Belsky. We appreciate your time and your information. For people who may be outside, still tending to some things that they have to do regardless being outside, what are some signs, some symptoms that they may be experiencing some heat-related illnesses?
So the biggest thing is to make sure that you're staying hydrated. Pay attention to how your body's reacting. You know what's normal for you typically. If you're working outside and all of a sudden you find you're getting more tired more quickly than you're used to, time to take a break, time to get some extra water. If you find that for some reason you have stopped sweating, that is kind of a late sign of heat stroke, heat exhaustion. That is a time to get somewhere safe and call 911 and get help before your body starts really having an unfortunate reaction.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a completely different sign and symptom of heat-related illness. If you're stopping your sweating, that definitely seems like some reason to call the fire department or our health department, also 911, I should say, as well. How does our local fire department actually collaborate or team up with local organizations and things of that nature to kind of help in these type of heat advisories in our local community?
Well, first is education. We love getting on with Splash and sharing the information that we have available to us. Second is responding to those emergencies, those calls for help. If we get a call to someone who's suffering from dehydration, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, we have the ability in the West Bloomfield Fire Department to start treating those symptoms and then transporting that patient to a hospital, make sure that they are attended to properly.
Great. And we appreciate that work as well. And join us right here live on The Splash from West Bloomfield Fire Department, Sergeant Blake Belsky. Any other additional important information that we should know while we are experiencing this heat advisory today and this week?
Today, I don't know if you can hear it, we've got some pretty severe thunderstorms going on right now, so just another reason to stay inside. But keep an eye on the weather, plan ahead. I think I heard you say wear some light clothing. It sounds counterintuitive sometimes, but maybe consider wearing long sleeves and pants to keep the sun from hitting your skin directly, causing any sunburn or advanced dehydration like that. But the important thing is going to be to plan and hydrate.
Great point. And once again, we appreciate your time and your information, just so we can all keep cool and stay away from the sun during this time. Once again, thank you again for your time. Sergeant for West Bloomfield Fire Department, Blake Belsky, we appreciate you.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, while a lot of that information may seem obvious and common sense, we still like to also just put it out there because it is important information that we all should know. So make sure you stay hydrated during today, and you also continuously wear light clothes and even long sleeve pants if necessary. WBtownship.org for more information as necessary. And we do have more information to keep you updated right here in the greater West Bloomfield community. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Hi, I'm Debbie Binder, West Bloomfield Township Clerk. I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on reaching 1 million viewers on YouTube. We are really grateful for your efforts to help us get our message regarding elections out to your viewers. I'm Debbie Binder, proud to be 1 in a million.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. And the position of Director of City Services was created to handle city operations, specifically to talk about a few things that actually handles within the city of Orchard Lake, and we will get into that very, very soon. But right now, we want to talk a little bit more about why sensory play is important for kids. And sensory play is essentially exploring materials that engage the senses, allowing kids to discover the world around them. And Miss Mary actually says, quote, sensory play has many benefits for kids like learning new vocabulary, testing their problem-solving skills, and boosting their motor development, end quote. In WB Library's Preschool Power Series, after reading a story, kids enjoy related activities, including a sensory table filled with materials that reinforce the story and build comprehension. At a recent baby sensory exploration event, little ones explored materials that stimulated sight, sound, and touch, with adults helping to build their understanding through descriptive language. Great information, great programs, and both programs are returning this fall to the West Bloomfield Library. Don't miss out on our next sensory event. You can find out more about that on their website, WBLIB.org. And speaking of the library, we should keep you aware that there is going to be a closure for the holiday season this coming weekend. Please note that the library will be closed for Labor Day weekend from Saturday, August 31st through Monday, September 2nd. So that means they will reopen again on Tuesday, September 3rd with their regular hours, by the way. So stock up on your favorite books, movies, anything that you need from the library. Do that now before Labor Day weekend, Saturday, August 31st. For more, find out more on their website, WBLIB.org, and their Facebook, of course, West Bloom LIB as well. And as we were mentioning before, with the city of Orchard Lake specifically, they have a position called Director of City Services, created to handle city operations, a role that's traditionally fulfilled by a city manager in other local municipalities. So with us right here live on The Splash to talk a little bit more about his role and responsibilities and the difference between that and the city manager, we have Director of City Services for the city of Orchard Lake Village, Jerry McCullum. Thank you for being here, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing just great, sir.
Good.
Ready to pick your brain about a few things just so we can put some perspective on your role and responsibilities. And let's just talk about it. What are your role, your primary role and responsibilities as Director of City Services for Orchard Lake Village?
So currently right now it's Kelvin, correct?
I'm sorry?
Your name's Kelvin, correct?
Kevin.
Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin. So Kevin, my role is like a chief administrator of the city of Orchard Lake Village. So I handle the day-to-day operations, Kevin, from the standpoint of financial documents, Act 51. So really, I oversee the full operations of the city. Currently, right now, my title of Director of City Services, Police Chief Gomez and I are lateral in position, and so I don't oversee his department. However, I do run the financials of his department, budgets and stuff like that. So,
Interesting. And I'm glad you put that perspective out there for us. You pretty much do everything that a city manager would do, but it's slightly different. I want to kind of elaborate on that. Can you elaborate on the role of Director of City Services and how it differs from that of a typical city manager?
So really, it does not differ much at all. When I took over this position, the city charter does not allow you to have a city manager without going to vote of the people. And my predecessor, Janet Green, when she was here, God bless her soul, she was here for many years. She was a city clerk and she ran everything from the city standpoint. So the charter, again, does not allow a city manager. So what this is going to do is just replace my title from Director of City Services to a city manager title per se, name only. So
Gotcha.
the purpose of that really is for several folds. Is one, there's some state treasury documents that I cannot sign because I don't have the title as a city manager. So we should actually have to have our highest elected official, the mayor, sign. But also there's some state meetings that take place, or local meetings and county meetings that really nobody knows what a director does, but they know what a city manager does.
Right.
But more importantly is the fact that down the road here, I will be retiring someday. And I think that to have someone to come into this position would be much more apt to be a city manager. You'd get more qualified candidates, et cetera, again, having that title. So yeah, again, it's just a change in title. Duties will remain the same as they are directly right now.
Yeah, great explanation. Also with us right here live on The Splash, just talking about his responsibilities as City Services Director for Orchard Lake Village, Jerry McCullum, just explaining a little bit more about the difference between his current role and city manager as well. And you also been serving the city for 13 years. I'm actually looking at also, I want to kind of talk about how do you feel like your experience over the past 13 years has actually shaped your approach in managing the city's administrative functions?
So first of all, yeah, the 13 years I've been in this position itself as the director. Prior to that, I was 10 years, 11 years as the building official, Department of Public Works superintendent, and code enforcement officer. Since the retirement of Janet Green many years ago, I've taken over a lot of duties from that standpoint. We still have a clerk treasurer who handled the financial aspects and the elections, et cetera. But so really I learned a lot from my predecessor. Again, Janet Green, I keep mentioning her because she taught me a lot about this position, taught me about the aspects of running a city. And I'm very blessed that I got to learn from her prior to her leaving her tenure here. So
that's great that you did have a great example in front of you to kind of follow behind that. Now I want to ask you, what difference would it make, if any, with you receiving the city manager title with the expansion of City Hall or other city services in Orchard Lake?
Really is no difference to what I'm doing right now. Again, it's just a change in the name. The duties remain the same. The function remains the same. But it's really just to capture the fact that I act as a city manager, direct as a city manager. There's no more compensation just because of change in title or anything like that. So that will all remain the same as well.
Gotcha.
I'm very fortunate that council does take care of me from a monetary standpoint.
Okay.
But again, you know, the main thing was some of the documents that are required to be signed by a city manager, recognizing that we are a city. From that standpoint, and more importantly, again, you know, I think down the road when I do retire, I don't know when that'll be, that you'll get more qualified candidates to take this position as a city manager versus a director.
Nice. Now, if you don't mind, can you just speak to some of the changes and the developments that you've kind of overgone in your tenure there as a Director of City Services also?
I think the biggest one was the City Hall addition that we did, coming up on a year and a half, 2 years now. That was where we expanded the police department, constructed a police department garage, and then a new Department of Public Works facility as well.
Nice.
That project was probably the biggest project that I've ever been entailed in as a director here in the city. And it was, I mean, we had to go out for bonds. We had to bond the project. We had to get a vote of the people. I learned an awful lot, I can tell you that. I've never done that in my tenure here at Orchard Lake, but it was a good experience, and the project's done. and completed, and we are very happy with how it turned out, and City Hall grounds look fabulous.
Nice, nice. And like we said, with us right here live on The Splash, Director of City Services for the City of Orchard Lake Village, Jerry McCollum. Thank you again for all of your information, your time. Once again, before we go, I do want to ask you, and what measures have you taken to kind of maintain the city's financial health, with it being what it is now?
Well, I can't take all the credit for that. I think we have to give credit to our city council, give credit to our finance committee. We've been very diligent on watching city expenditures. And I think that keeps the city in a great position. They've made changes years ago in some of the retirement benefits and the retirement health care benefits that have benefited the city as well. And we're in pretty good financial shape. In fact, we're actually, this budget year, we are actually in the next three budget years, we're putting additional funds away for an extra bond payment in the seventh year, so to pay off that bond sooner. So
nice.
So, but it is a group effort. I can't take all the credit for it. So
good work, good work. But we appreciate that. Lastly, before we go, how can people find out more information about this bond proposal in the city of Orchard Lake?
So we do have it. It will be on the ballot. Okay, it is advertised on the ballot for the November election. Again, and that is get to the electors of the city to approve this name change and allow this to occur. They can find information. We will have information on our website. Also, they are able to come in and get a copy of the draft ordinance that institutes this change and list all the duties of the city manager as well.
Thank you for clarifying. And that's a ballot proposal. Thank you for helping me clarify that, by the way. But we definitely do appreciate your time, appreciate your information, and all the work that you have done, by the way. Thank you again, Director of City Services, City of Orchard Lake Village, Jerry McCollum. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Absolutely. You too. Have a better one. A lot of great information there regarding his responsibilities, what he does, and we love to put perspective on that. Find out more, cityofOrchardLake.com for more information regarding that. Now, we like to transition into the fall season with a nice, smooth transition, and there's a lot of different things going on locally with the West Bloomfield Park. So with us live on The Splash to talk a little bit about their fall program at WB Parks, we have joining us Megan Tahako, WB Parks Marketing and Communications Manager. First and foremost, Megan, what programs and events are we expecting to see on our calendars this fall?
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Fall is probably our favorite time around here. We have so many events going on, and it's just such a season of tradition for us. We have a lot of events that people really look forward to every year. They're really staples in the community. So while we have added a few new events for our fall lineup, we certainly are bringing back some of our old favorites as well. So we do have one of the, I guess, new / kind of was new many years ago, and then it went away, and now it's coming back, is our Bowl with Santa event. We haven't hosted that since before COVID, so we're really excited to be bringing that back. That's at Wonderland Lanes on December 7th, so that's a new one. And then another new event that we're offering for our seniors is our Senior Health Showcase, and that'll be over at Connect, our senior center. And we're going to be bringing in about 30 health-related vendors for seniors to come and meet with and learn about their services. And we'll have all kinds of great refreshments and raffle prizes and all kinds of fun things happening that day. And that takes place on October 6th.
I like that because it seems like that's another example of WB Parks listening to what the community needs and then actually going in and providing that. So the great things that we have, new initiatives and programs. So we're actually seeing a few, like we said, common things. Also, we have the trick or treat trail, camp out at Marshbank Park, mother-son dance, just a bunch of different things going on. But I want to talk about from the planning perspective of it. Can you just go into what it takes to actually plan these, include some of the challenges and successes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we plan these events at least 6 months out. We pick the dates. We're already picking dates for 2025 events right now. So we do plan really, really far in advance. I would say some of the challenges that we're dealing with currently is really just the cost of everything. So We have our traditional events that we host year and year again. But the costs that go into putting those events on continues to rise, as with everything right now. So trying to still offer those events within a reasonable price point has definitely been a challenge, and our staff is really working to try to come up with some creative solutions, some partnerships with businesses, anything we can do to try to keep our costs low so that all members of the community can take advantage.
I definitely understand that and get that. Putting things in perspective, that's the side of the business or the planning that we don't, as residents, really think about until we actually get the news that, oh, this event isn't offered anymore or whatever the case may be, and then we're kind of wondering why. But just to prevent that, not prevent that, but present that as a challenge, now it puts a little bit more perspective on it, even from a resident side. So thank you for at least being honest about that. With us right here live on The Splash from WB Parks Marketing and Communications Manager Megan Tahako, talking about the 2024 Fall Guide programs, initiatives, events going on right here in our community. Now, we already mentioned some of the senior events that we all are planning. With that increased focus on senior events, how is WB Parks adapting its programs to meet the evolving needs of our senior population in West Bloomfield?
Yeah, so we're continuing to offer more programs at our Senior Center Connect. We actually have some grant-funded programs that we kicked off towards the end of this summer, but they're continuing through the fall, so some people might not know about them. The vast majority of those grant-funded programs are completely free for residents to take advantage of. One in particular that I'm excited about is it's called our Single Mingle Happy Hour, and so that takes place on select Fridays. And basically, it's just a fun way to get everyone together. We'll have live entertainment, a different musician for each of the events, and then there will be fun mocktails for each one. So just a great way to bring seniors together, to mingle, have fun in an informal setting. But there's also laughing yoga that's completely free. We have a men's support group. So all these programs are completely free because they were funded through a grant.
Nice. Hey, Megan, I have a lot more questions, but I don't want to hold you up too much longer. We want to keep the program running, but I do want to give you this last opportunity. Anything that we missed or anything important that you want to discuss or talk about or just give out to the community regarding the 2024 Fall Guide for WB Parks?
Sure. One event that we didn't really touch on that I wanted to mention is our High Tops and High Heels event.
Please.
This is a mother-son dance, and it's been highly requested. We've hosted it at different places over the years, but I'm really excited to say that we're going back to Glen Oaks Country Club, which is where we initially hosted the event, and we had lots of requests to go back there. So we were finally able to do it this year. So we're really looking forward to that event. It includes a dinner. We'll have professional photographers there if you want to purchase photos. The DJ will have all kinds of fun activities going on. That's on November 22nd. So I would just encourage any moms that might be interested in that to check it out. And then I want to encourage everyone to register, save your spots early for these events. I know the camp out event is over halfway full already. Our trick or treat trail will definitely sell out. So make sure if you're interested in these events that you save your spot sooner than later. And you can do that at wbparks.org.
There we go. Perfect place to land the plane, Megan. Thank you so much for your time. Very, very valuable information. Also, marketing and communications manager for WB Parks. Ladies and gentlemen, Megan Tahako. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
A lot to look forward to this fall season, outdoor-wise, activity-wise, and it's all courtesy of WB Parks, by the way. So you can find out more information on our website, wbparks.org, for everything that you need also. There is a Detroit area DJ that travels the nation to connect music to faith, and he's actually coming to the greater West Bloomfield area to the Orchard Lake Community Church to continue its 150th anniversary celebration Friday, September 30th. And with us live on The Splash to actually give us more insight, we do have Jared, a.k.a. DJ Code. Code, join us on The Splash. Thank you for being here, DJ Code.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So we got a very, very unique event coming up with a very, very talented, unique individual like yourself. But let's get into it. What mostly excites you about performing at the Orchard Lake Community Church's 150th anniversary event?
I have to say, man, it's number one, it's truly an honor to be even booked for an event like this. A lot of churches of this kind don't book DJs, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's so good. I'm really really excited to just see kids come together, see teens come together, and really just be able to worship the Lord in kind of a different way. So yeah, very very excited about that.
That's what's up. And just like we just talked about too, the concert that you'll be at is specifically aimed at youth in grades 6 through 12, encouraging them to bring friends and energy to this event. With that being said, if I'm not mistaken, your genre focuses on like Christian hip hop, or you can elaborate that on a little bit more. But how do you blend faith and music in a way that it resonates with the younger audience?
Woo, that's good. So my motto has always been like, God made hearts and hearts have beats, and so that we can really come in and just do a different style of worship. Worship takes a lot of different forms, and very very excited just to be able to like minister in this way. I get to DJ for a lot of amazing people, like Grammy nominated artists that are in the Christian, the CHH world, Christian hip hop world. And so, yeah, just being able to bring some younger artists to out to this event just to see them blossom and different things. I've got a couple local Detroit guys coming out, and then a guy named Booker Newton coming out from Lansing also. So, yeah.
Nice. Oh, man, that's what's up. With us right here live on The Splash is talking about an upcoming event he'll be a part of. Jared Cole, also known as DJ Cole, who will be performing Friday, September 13th at the Orchard Lake Community Church for the 150th anniversary also. If I'm not mistaken, you are an internationally traveled DJ. So how does your global experience influence your music and performances in local communities like Orchard Lake?
Yeah, I started in the local community. I remember like at the beginning of my career, like going into churches and literally like knocking on the door like on a Sunday and talking to the youth pastor and asking if I could do a show. And God has been able to open the door for me to actually go overseas. We did Pakistan a couple years ago, and that was like 150,000 people.
Wow.
And I love to come back home. Like that is one of my favorite things to do. Is like, they say home is where the heart is, and that's just so true, so true. And I love to come home and actually be able to serve the community I'm in because, the word says, love thy neighbor. So I'm here to do that. I'm very, very excited to actually be able to be in kind of my home state. So.
Yeah. And actually live that out too. Love thy neighbor. I love that you actually, I love that, man. Great work. Everything that you're doing too. What can the youth expect from this concert that they will be attending with you?
It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be an amazing time. Orchard Lake has a amazing facility that they're letting us use. We're actually trailering in a lot of equipment. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be an experience to never forget. A thing I tell my guys all the time is I say, well, this could be some kid's first concert, so we perform the same everywhere we go. Like it's just going to be an amazing time. We're very, very excited to be able to bring that to the area. So.
How does it feel knowing that you are actually part of a celebration like this? 150 years of a church being planted right here in this community. How does that feeling take place and what we're expecting from your performance?
Yeah, it feels amazing. It's amazing to see that faith can stand the test of time, and I don't know. It's such an amazing feeling. Like I can't even explain. Even like the pastor was telling me the story of like how people used to come over from one of the islands in the area, and actually like be able to come to church. And the fact that I get to be a part of the history of this church is so amazing. It doesn't happen very often. So.
Yes. And I know it has to be a great feeling, like you said, coming back to your hometown, your home area, and serving the people, doing great things, and celebrating 150 years with a local church also. I know it has to feel great. Any additional information that you want to tell the community about yourself, about your performance, and or why they should come out?
Well, I guess first and foremost, and I'll keep it short, but I want to just promo the guys that are coming. We've got Damari and Tristan, local guys from Detroit. Booker Newton is a good friend of mine. He's coming out with an EP later on this year, so we can talk about that on another segment. But just very, very excited to have these guys. I want to be able to show these guys that they're able to do this full time. Like I get to do this full time. None of these guys that are coming get to do this full time. So very, very excited to show them that. And then also be able to show kids in the community that you can do this and actually sustain a career in doing faith-based music. And not only that, but just music in general. And it can be a ton of fun. So yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I love that message. I love that message. There we go right there, man. And we appreciate your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for explaining that. And good luck as you go out there Friday, September 13th. Once again, joining us, Jared Code, also known as DJ Code, will be out there at Orchard Lake Community Church. Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Yes, yes. We love to talk to different people, very, very talented, traveling the world, making a difference and representing the Metro Detroit area. So once again, it'll be a great event out there. A lot of different things going on for the entire weekend, but the youth concert will be Friday, September 13th, 7 to 9:30 p.m. A lot of information going on there. And as we get closer to that date, we will also keep you updated with everything as well. So we are actually, speaking of transitions and celebrations, we are talking about the celebration and transition of a brand new position right here within the West Bloomfield Police Department, a new community relations officer. And we actually have her live. Join us on The Splash to talk a little bit about her new role and responsibilities. We want to thank Zena Daly for joining us on The Splash. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so a very unique position, or a new role, I should say, for you. How does it feel to be serving the people of West Bloomfield in this new role?
It's very different than what I'm used to. I've been on midnight patrol for a very long time, so this is nice. I'm out during the day, and there's a ton of people to meet. Some sun on my face here, a little different than midnights.
Yeah. No, I bet. I get it. And like we said, new role, new responsibility, kind of a new aspect of looking at things too. But what inspired you to even take on this role of community relations officer?
I think it was just time for a change. Like I said, I've been doing this for 22 years, most of it on midnights, where, as you would imagine, I don't interact with as many people as you would during the day, during the afternoon hours.
Right.
So this is just something I think I was ready for, just to, be around where there are more people, where I'm meeting more people in the community.
Yeah, man, I know your sleep patterns making that transition was a little bit rough too, but that's a whole nother conversation. I already know. But let's talk about this role specifically. What goes into being a community relations officer?
Getting to know a lot of people in the community, being in the schools and joining some of the activities that are put on by Parks and Rec, and just being out there, being present.
Yeah, and that's good. So it's exactly what we essentially think of it as, community relations, finding these relationships with the community, getting out there. What do you ultimately hope to achieve personally in this position?
For me, I think it's just being more involved, right? So being a patrol, this is a very different position than being on, a police patrol. And like I said, especially on midnights. This is, I'm going to be a lot more involved, and that's my hope. That's my goal, to get to know more people. Like I said, to be in the schools, just to be involved and create more relationships.
Great.
It's something I haven't had in this career because of, the position I was in previously.
Right. The position and the time, your shift and things of that nature. So like I said, whole new perspective on the city, on the role, the department. I completely understand that. With us right here live on The Splash, community relations officer, new community relations officer for the West Bloomfield Police Department, Zena Daly. And we appreciate you for being here. So with your new role and responsibilities, what strategies do you intend to implement to address community concerns and ensure that residents feel heard and supported by WBPD?
Well, something that I would say I learned just being on patrol is a lot of these HOAs sometimes don't have enough information or don't provide it to the residents in their community, right? And I hope that I can get in there and talk to them and say, hey, some of these things are occurring in your neighborhoods because of A, B, and C, and this is how you can resolve some of these issues. So that would be great information, for the officers that are on the road. We're constantly thinking, if only they knew this. You could tell, the household we go to when they call us for, let's just say someone broke into your car, right?
Right.
We would like everyone in that neighborhood to know the same information, but they don't always do that, right? So we're not able to go there depending what hours we're working to do that necessarily.
Right.
So I hope that we can get in there, and that would make our neighborhoods even more safe.
No, I get it. And we anything that we can do, and I will kind of get into that later, but we would love to support you in that role and making sure you get your mission across also. But if I'm not mistaken, Officer Pettinato, he was in this position before you. Can you just talk about any advice that he's given you to kind of help this transition also?
So first, he is just awesome, and he was great in this role. And I know he loved it. He really just guided me on a lot of the different groups that he was involved in that helped him get his messages out and to be involved in, just to be a part of the community and create better ties and relationships. So I am now, getting in contact with different groups and organizations and more involved with Parks and Rec, who put on a ton of events that he was involved in. And he also put on a lot of his own events, actually. So just getting thrown into all that, it was a lot. I'll tell you, he did a lot.
Nice.
And he was amazing.
And he passed the torch. I know you learned a lot, soaked in that knowledge, and we're happy to see you out here too now during the daytime in the sunshine now.
Thank you.
So I do want to ask also, with that being said, you just brought up different events. Are there any initiatives, programs that you're working on, excited to introduce by any chance to the community?
I'm very, very new in this, so not yet, but once I have those, you guys will know.
Absolutely, completely understand that. So just asking you from your experience with the community also, are there any key elements of successful community policing, and how do you apply them right here in our community?
I think it's just communication, right? Communication and being involved. It's how you get your message across. You could say the same thing in two different ways. It's really your delivery and creating those ties to the community.
Yes, and well said, and a perfect place to land a plane. And Officer Daly, we do appreciate your time. Any other message that you want to give out to the community about your role, responsibilities, or just anything in general?
I am excited to meet a ton of new people. I will be out at as many events as I can be. So I'll be looking out for you. Look out for me.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate you, and congratulations again on your new role as Community Relations Officer for West Bloomfield Police Department, Officer Zena Daly. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we get a chance to see Officer Daly now during the sunshine and beautiful days, and she will be out at a lot more events, shaking hands, kissing babies, and we want to thank her again for her time. So we have a lot more to explain about things going on in the greater West Bloomfield area. We will get to that, but we are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I'm Greg Flynn, the fire chief here in West Bloomfield. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on your 1 million views on YouTube. Together we share the message of community safety and preparedness, making West Bloomfield a safe and wonderful place to live. My name's Greg Flynn, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. In case you did not get the word, in the upcoming weeks, there will be a hydrant flushing throughout the township. And why is hydrant flushing important? And what is it? Actually, to join us right here on The Splash Live to talk about that specifically and answer those questions, Water and Sewer Utilities Director for the West Bloomfield Township Department, we have Justin Taylor joining us right here on The Splash Live. And Justin, let's just start off by explaining, what is hydrant flushing? What is that procedure? And why is it important to our local water systems?
hydrant flushing we do it twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And it is an integral part of the distribution system. There's many positive aspects to that. First off, and foremost probably is to make sure that we have adequate water flow for residential homes, commercial businesses, and heaven forbid, firefighting purposes. When we're doing this flushing, in the fall now, we're hitting the dead end fire hydrants. So in a distribution system, we like a looped layout, a looped system. That's not possible in all cases, so we get these dead ends. So what we're doing is we're opening up those dead end fire hydrants and flowing some water. By doing that, we are improving the water quality by removing iron and other mineral buildup in those mains and getting that out of there. And while we do that, we're bringing in fresh water. It's got the disinfectant products in there, chlorine, and so that we can be sure that the water is safe for consumption.
That is very interesting. As you're explaining it, I'm literally walking through it like visually. I'm like, okay, so dead ends, you mean like literally like the cul-de-sacs area, like where there's no extended pipeline for the hydrant to go. You have to go there and make sure you give that extended care to make sure it's flushed out, getting out all the iron, the rust, and things like that. I'm so glad I actually followed along with that. Okay, thank you for explaining that. I got to break this down real quick, Justin. A quote from Facebook. If you happen to experience rusty-looking water, run the cold side of your lowest sink for 5 to 10 minutes. What does it mean by lowest sink? Do you mean literally elevation level? Please explain that.
Yes, exactly, Kevin. You go to the lowest level of your house where you have access to turn on your water. And what you're doing by turning on the cold water, you're not drawing anything that is stirred up in that main, because we were just out there flushing. You don't want to draw that into your hot water tank. So turn on the cold water in a faucet that does not have an aerator, which is, if you went to try to put your finger up into a faucet, you would feel a little screen there. That screen is an aerator. So as water comes through the pipes and out of the faucet, that breaks the stream of water and puts oxygen with it. You don't want to turn on that if you can avoid it, because you'll get some of those iron deposits up against that screen. So if you've got a bathtub or a laundry sink, like a slop sink, turning on one of those cold water and flushing that out for 5 to 10 minutes, that'll draw a lot of that sediment out of your service line, so that doesn't get throughout the plumbing of your home.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you for explaining that, man. I love having you here. Right here, by the way, Water and Sewers Utility Director for West Bloomfield Township, Justin Taylor, talking about hydrant flushing, water safety, water quality, things of that nature. So I want to ask you, is there any recommendation for how the average resident can check the quality of their water at any time?
What do you, as far as what, Kevin? I'm sorry.
No. So just to explain, let's say people may have concern that maybe there is some type of discoloration or smell coming from their water at any time. Is there any type of method that they can do, like an at-home kit, water testing kit? Is there any resources available? Should we call the water your department to come out and test the water at our home? Anything of that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. Call us first, because we can come and either flush a hydrant near you. If we can do a quick chlorine test on that to make sure that there is chlorine residual. And what that tells us, that's an indicator that the chlorine, the good guys outnumber the bad guys, the bacteria, things that are not safe to drink. If there's a chlorine residual in the water, we know that it is safe to drink. So calling us first is your best bet. But there are kits that you can pick up from any of hardware stores like Home Depot or home improvement stores, I guess I should say. Lowe's, they sell water testing kits there. But we We don't have a lab ourselves, but we are tied to Oakland County, so we can use the health department lab for quick water tests. But yes, absolutely, give us a call, reach out to us first, and we can come troubleshoot if you feel that there is an issue. Now, having said that, when we are doing this hydrant flushing, we are going to stir up the inside, the hard water deposits inside these mains. So you're going to get a little bit of discoloration. You're going to see iron, other mineral buildups that we are trying to scour and get out of those pipes.
Got you. Okay. No, I didn't know if you had more to add to that, but thank you again for your information and for elaborating that in a little bit more. We're kind of wrapping up on time, Justin. We definitely do appreciate any other important information regarding water quality or hydrant flushing that we should be aware of.
One other quick note, if you do see our crews out there, we ask that if you could give us a single day before you do white colored laundry or light colored laundry, because until that main has time to settle down, which if it doesn't really quickly and you can't flush it out in 5 to 10 minutes, overnight when nobody's using the water, that will all settle. And we because it can stain your light colored laundry. So I ask that if you can avoid that, do that. But any other questions or concerns, please reach out to us. We're here to help. You can check the township website for anything else on this flushing program or our Facebook page.
Hey, Justin, man, thank you again for your expertise and for the most precious thing in the world, your time. Once again, from the Water and Sewers Utility Department Director from West Bloomfield Township, Justin Taylor, thank you again.
Thank you.
A lot of key information there regarding our water right here in our local West Bloomfield area. Find out more information at wbtownship.org, by the way. And speaking of learning more and finding out more information, you want to join the West Bloomfield Public Library Saturday, September 21st, 2 to 4 p.m. alongside best-selling children's author and Michigander Deb Pallotti as they walk along the trail and read her newest book, The Dinosaur in the Garden. After the walk, the author will be available for question and answer and to sign copies of her book, which will be available to purchase at the actual event. And the library's Emily Tobin joined us recently to tell us about the part of the trail at Town Hall.
The storybook trail will start off of the youth terrace in our kind of backyard. And then there's like kind of a cut through path, and it follows the trail back through and then comes up the sled hill and puts you back out into that back parking lot by the township hall. It's not a very long path. I think it's like a quarter mile. So if you have a little kiddo, it's perfect for a short attention span. And the goal is really to promote early literacy and to get families out in nature.
Like you said, great event to get outdoors, read a book, and just spend some time with a great children's best-selling author. So find out more, just go directly to their website, wbparks.org, for more information regarding that. And don't forget, Lakers football this Thursday. We will have coverage starting with This Week in Laker Football Thursday around 6:15 p.m. Before the game, I can say that, and full coverage of the game starting at 7 p.m. against Chippewa Valley. You can find that CivicCenterTV.com as well. We will have pregame, live coverage, as well as postgame coverage right here on CivicCenterTV.com. That's all the information that we have for you as of right now. We do appreciate you for joining us, and per usual, we are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.